Alright, today's project is a friend's sewing machine. So, first things first, I haven't opened this, I just got it. They were keeping it in a garage while they moved, and so, pop the cabinet open and see what this even is. Ooh, and it's got a lot of yellowing on it, so we'll have to clean that up because the cabinet's pretty scruffy. But oh, it is a Necchi Lydia 3. So I've never worked on a Necchi before, so that'll be interesting. Looks like the stitch dial is on the back here, and it's got a zigzag, or yeah, it's on the side here. The motor is here, and this is, what does it say, type 544, and the thread sits down on the back and goes through that bracket. We'll have to figure out how to thread this later. Wonder if the, oh yeah, the head just snaps on. There's a clip there and a spot there, so that's going to be easy. The tensioner is back up there. And that must be stitch length, reverser. There is a window. Oh, that window is the display for the stitch. So when you turn the stitch knob on the side here, the selected stitch appears in that window. Okay. Well, let me get around the back and get that plugged in. See if it turns. Well, plugging that in was enough to move the other outlets in the power strip, so that's that. It's got power. Get the thread out of here. Now, my friend said the last time that they tried to use this, they couldn't get it to stitch right, so who knows if they've got... there's a knob back here. I wonder if that's a... But anyhow, let's... Oh, and this needle is bent, so... First things first, we'll take that really bent needle out of there. That way, okay, so that does the, definitely have power. Not getting anything on this. Well then, it'll be a big adventure to make this go. So, alright, well, I guess we will have to start by pulling this apart and seeing about getting in the end here, because this is real tight, and lubricating that, and then once we get it loosened and lubricated, we'll see if the motor wants to make it run then. Alright, well, the machine is pretty stuck up, but before I go any further, I thought I'd take a moment. The needle bar here is just flopping back and forth, so I don't know what that means. And this is the table. It's a pretty neat table, but it's definitely been in storage for a while because it's all full of fuffy critter eggs of some kind from bugs and stuff. So first things first, we'll make sure this machine works, and then once we've got it working, we'll have to give it a nice good clean. Alright. So I'm going to get this end panel off because this is a machine that's got a front panel and an end panel, and then this whole body is cast, so you have to access it from the ends, which means taking off this stitch selector, and there is a flathead, yeah, screw right there. And we'll have to, flathead screw, but then it's, the knob is keyed right here, so that'll go on one way, perfect. I won't have to figure that out when we get to it. And then this panel should just come out. So we can look in the back here and see what is happening and why this is all completely stiffened up. And that way we'll be able to get some oil in there and try to start loosening it. And there is one more screw back there. And I don't have a great setup for cameras, but it's always exciting to figure out how to get a camera so you can see and also work without blocking the camera. So 3 screws for the back here. And we can see the giant cam stack here for all the stitches and the knob. And then, oh yeah, there's a belt here, so I could test this motor by just slipping the belt off and seeing if the motor spins. But that won't matter if the machine doesn't move. So let's get the, I've never worked on a Necchi before, so this is all new, and that is lovely that the whole lower hook and bobbin case comes out in, and there's a slider on there's a slider here for your bobbin tension, so you can just adjust that. Wow, that is very luxurious. This bobbin was wound horribly, so I'm gonna have to definitely gonna have to cut that bobbin free when we get to that part. There's a few other bobbins in the accessory case, so that's that. Alright, now with the hook and bobbin case out, and that is filthy and rusted. We'll have to give that a bit of an oil and a scrub in there. Not sure if I can get this to show, but yeah, it's filthy and rusted around the race there, which happens in stuff like this. Yep, and we can see it's trying to move here, but it's pretty tight, so we'll have to keep taking parts off until we get some oil in there. Standard light bulb. Well, the reverse knob works, so that's good. Yeah, we just have to get in here and get some oil in it, it feels like. So, get this. So the only tools that I have for this are this big 6-in-1 style screwdriver. This one's unbranded. I pick them up at whatever hardware store. That way it's got the fat end and a skinny end with screwdrivers in it. And then this, I think they're another one of those brand anywhere kind of tools, but this one happens to say Nyko on Art Nico. And it's a little 1/4-inch ratchet socket that was recommended by another YouTube channel that does sewing machine stuff that I will link. AndyTube. So AndyTube just does singers, and I picked up working on any sewing machine I saw because I used to work at a Salvation Army thrift store in the olden days, and it's a lot easier to sell a functional sewing machine than it is to send people home with one that's all stuck up or whatever and ask them to figure out how to loosen it themselves. So there is a threading tool in this machine as well. It's not a full automatic threader, but that's pretty slick. I'm gonna pop this end there. Okay. Yep, and there's a third spot right here. Okay. So, again, because this is a complete cast body, in order to access it to oil it for a thorough oiling like this, we got to take the caps off both ends of this casting. So whenever I approach a new machine that I don't know anything about, I just start taking pieces off until I spot the moving. Oh, and there is a spring in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so the presser foot spring is connected against this plate in here, so when we put this back together, we'll have to remember that. Okay. So the only thing left holding this in place is the light bracket, so unscrew the light bracket. And then we'll have this nose piece off, and we can get in there and The flathead screws on this machine have very narrow slots in them, and I'm having trouble getting my bits to fit in there. So I may have to get out a file and very carefully file one of these narrower so it'll fit in there better. Alright, that's loose. So now that comes off. This here is the adjustment for the presser foot pressure. And then the top here is the tensioner. So I don't like taking tensioners apart if I can help it, because they're always fiddly to put back together, and usually I don't have a ton of issues with them. So we'll see. If I got to take that apart and clean it, we will. But and then there was a long screw and two short screws, so I'm going to put these screws back in the correct holes in that when I set it aside. And that guard on the light lamp holder came apart, but you know, see where, oh, there we go. Alright, well, I spy the broken part on this sewing machine. I'm gonna have to get a small nut driver, actually. Is that, yes, cool, lucky us. So take that off, and then there is one snapped part. So this is apparently a flexible needle guide, and it's broken, so I'm gonna have to go looking for a part before I go any further on this machine. So, oh, there's another washer in there. That's why I can't get in on that other nut. Alright, well, this is the first time I've seen a machine with a broken metal part in a long time. But good news is this has a part number on the side of it, so I can just how do I pop this off of here? Because it's split. There's a part number, but it's cut right there. Let's see now. A lot of nylon parts in this. To look up what age this Necchi is. Oh. So there we we go. So there's a completely snapped nylon bumper on the top of the needle bar here. But I don't think that's going to be important. It looks like it's just a guide for oil to get in there. Now with the needle bar out, can I convince this part does this pop off of there? Oh, there's a C-clip on the other side of that. Okay. So, all right. So there's a C-clip on the back side of that, and I'll need to do something. I'll have to figure out how to get in there to get at that. Well, since we're already taking the whole head of this apart to get in there, we'll loosen the clamp on the presser foot as well and slide the presser foot down out of here. With the presser foot lowered out of the way, I can get a better look at that clip in there. But first, I'm gonna turn this and look to see if I can read the last number on that. Doesn't want to fit. Alright, well, that broken part that much. Okay. With that more stuff out of the way, then we've got a little freedom here. So I'm gonna go find a pick to pull that C-clip. Let me see if I can show. So there's a C-clip on the back side of this arm here that I gotta pop off that is completely not visible by any stretch, but that's how I'm gonna release the rest of this broken part here so I can read the part number and see what a new one costs. And then once I get that out of there, I'm just gonna start oiling the top here because we got a little movement, so if I can just get a little more oil in there, it should loosen up. So okay. Oh, my camera moved a little bit and the mount in the light is wiggling in the corner there. Guess I'll have to keep a closer eye on that. But my roommate was on the phone in the background, so it's voiceover time. I came back down after looking for parts for this machine, and it seems like the Lydia 3 544 is was popular, but there are no parts available for it, really. So later we're going to repair the existing part, and right now I'm taking the base off of the machine to get in underneath and lubricate down below because the machine did jam up again. And there's a lot of fiddly stuff going on. There are 4 screws in the bottom of this base plate that hold the machine body onto it, but this machine was designed to be portable. So this base plate for the case, which is plastic, is also the cover for the motor and the lower part of the machine. When I flipped it over, I wasn't paying attention, so I did bend the take-up arm on the head, but then I rebent it, and what I ended up having to do, I realized that the cam stack is the thing that was jamming when I was trying to turn it. So I had to get the cam stack out. There were 3 screws holding the cam stack in, and a screw holding the slider for the stitch selector display. And when I got the cam stack out, I did discover that the cams are pretty cracked, which is a common issue with this age of plastic. The hand wheel there is also cracked a little bit. The spines between the tooth belt pulleys and the cam are cracked, so I'm going to reinforce that in the future too. And this is the part where I wasn't paying attention, and you can watch as I'm pushing here to remove this back plate. The take-up arm there is getting bent. So, which I did notice after a bit, but yeah, it's free here, and then in a little bit I realized that not only was I bending that, but then the cam stack jammed up again. So I will have to figure out what to do about the cam stack and see. The straight stitch cam, of course, is just a flat cam. And if worse comes to worse, I can make the repair on the needle bar holder. And I was trying to be clever there, but when I rebent the take-up arm here, but I just ended up having to press on it like that. And that is where I turned and got the cam stack jammed again. So, yeah, these machines were pretty solid, but the early sewing machines with plastic parts, the plastic lasts pretty well, and then it does fail after a certain amount of time, because that's just the case with a lot of plastics. They dry up and crack out after a while. So anyhow, I decided to move the, yeah, once I got the, yeah, so found out that the cam stack is jamming up and I need to remove it. So I went after that with, there's 3 screws holding that in place, and like I said, the screw on the display slider that shows you which stitch you've got selected in the front. And then I dropped one of the screws that holds the cam stack in place, got dropped into the bottom of the machine, and I did have to tear the bottom of the machine apart to get the screw out, but I took that, didn't film that part because it's just me futzing around until I can get that screw loose out of the bottom. So once the cam stack came out, the machine started spinning freely, so, and I couldn't get the cam stack to turn at all and rotate on the thing. So the cam stack is the issue causing the machine to jam up, and that's probably what caused the initial issues of the machine. The holder, the needle bar guide piece that's snapped on the other end, that I don't know why that would have been broken by the cam stack locking up. That I think is probably from the needle getting hit sideways too hard at some juncture. So, but that is the story for this section of the repair piece. And then next I'm going to start on the temporary repair of the broken piece, which I'm going to use until I can either find a replacement or maybe just see how that goes. But right now, the cam stack is going to be out and needs to be dealt with. And I'm going to ask my friend whether this machine has sentimental value or if I can just go looking for another machine for them to use as they learn how to sew. Because this one is okay, but I'm probably only going to be able to get it back together with a straight stitch at this point until I find a way to get a replacement cam stack and some other parts for it. Okay, so this was locked up again, and as you can see, I took it off the bottom base. There were 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, that held the bottom cover base on. And the issue I came across was that the cam stack here, because this has a bunch of built-in stitches, this cam stack is just not rotating. So I need to figure out why this cam stack is just stuck. So I'm going to start with, there appears to be a set screw on this top here, and I need to see if this is a small enough flathead or if I need to get a smaller yet. Yep, I need to find a smaller screwdriver yet, because this set screw, you can see the top here is threaded. So if this set screw is not holding properly, this could have been tightening as the machine turns and rotates this shaft, and then that would clamp the running on the top there and seize it up. So that is where I'm going to start, because it doesn't appear to be jammed in any other places. So it must be somewhere up here that it's getting jammed. The good news is it looks like this nylon gear here is not worn real badly, so whatever, it hasn't busted teeth off of that, which is good. So the other thing is, I was online looking for replacement parts for this. There are no replacement parts available, not even checking eBay and whatever, so I'm going to attempt to repair this needle bar holder. And to do that, I'm going to start with, because this is a cast piece, I'm going to put a dab of super glue in there and just super glue this back together, because then it will be all lined up, and I can check fit and do a further repair on this piece with the super glue holding it all in alignment, so it should be the right size and shape. So I'm gonna hold this tight for 20 or 30 seconds, and then I'll have to come back and take a look at that cam stack.